Welcome to a tutorial video. Somebody asked me a few days ago on the comment section of that blowing a half speaker video if I could make a tutorial video showing them how to make one themselves. So here I am. But anyways, I'm going to use this thing. Now this is a Nissan car door speaker. It is going to be used, and it is what I use to make a half speaker, because the basket is nothing but plastic. Now, if you have one of those Iowa speakers, I don't have one right now, but if you have a speaker with a plastic basket, like this, a plastic basket, then you can easily follow along with these instructions. If you have one with a metal basket, that's a lot different, because you need special tools to cut metal, and I don't think scissors are going to cut it. No pun intended. You know, if you have a small one that you want to do, I mean, maybe get some girthy scissors and... oh, they cut through quite nicely. But you're going to have all these sharp edges and stuff, and it's just going to be a whole mess. But if you want me to show you that, I'll show you that. So I'll do this one first. So here's what you're going to need in order to do this. You're going to need a pair of pliers, either flat nose or needle nose. Flat nose would be preferred. These pliers are going to be used for breaking the basket. A pair of scissors. These are going to be made for making the broader cuts on the, edges and main parts of the speaker. And a small blade, either an X-Acto knife or a box cutter, one of the two. These are going to be used for making the precise cuts around the voice coil. So let's start by finding out where to break. Now, what I would recommend is don't cut straight down the middle. You are actually going to want to cut slightly over to the side of it, avoiding the voice coil. Most people don't think about this, but you cannot cut into the voice coil. It will stop the voice coil from working, obviously, but it'll also make copper go everywhere. So, we're gonna first want to see where we cut. Now, you're not gonna want to cut straight down here with the terminals, because, then that's gonna ruin one half the terminals and the speaker's not gonna work. You're gonna wanna cut down this way. And this is the half you're gonna be keeping, the side with the terminals. And the side without the terminals is the side you're going to throw away. Now, as I said earlier, you're going to want to see where the voice coil is. We're going to want to make sure the terminals are on one side of it. If you want to follow along, the terminals are actually on the right side of the speaker, and I'm going to be cutting off the left side of the speaker. So if you want to follow along, do it like that. But I'm going to now line it up like this and break away a little bit of the basket. But now, we've got our general idea of where we need to get cutting. And you're not going to really want to cut through the plastic with scissors, because that's just a terrible idea, and will dull your scissors. You're going to want to break the plastic off using pliers. Now notice how this is taking off part of the surround. That's where we're going to cut from. But have yourself a general area of where to cut. So right here, our trajectory is right beside the voice coil, so we're going to go ahead and cut there. And now we have our marker on where we need to rip our next piece. So I'm going to break that leg of the basket as well as that one, and start breaking it past the voice coil on the other side. And be careful if it's a foam or rubber surround, because those can tear. These don't tear as easily, but you're going to try to line it up as much as you can and just cut. And now we've got part of our speaker off. You can see we've got part of the secondary cone and primary cone, as well as surround off. And now we're going to need to go lower. This looks pretty good, but we can do better. And by doing better, I mean we can keep going further. So for that now, because we can't necessarily get our scissors down here precisely, this is where the small blade comes in. Now for this small blade, we are going to make a cut lining up with our previous cuts, and gently just cut away the spider. Against the voice coil and against where we've made our other marks to cut. And then, once we slit the edges as well, Sorry about the background noise. We can take the spider off and do some cleaning up to it with the small blade. Careful not to cut yourself. Now that we've got this, we can start taking off this lower plastic. You don't have to do this step, it just makes it a better model for other people to see. This is where flat nose or needle nose pliers will come in handy, because you can stick them in there and break that right on where it attaches. But get that out of the way, and just about there you have it. Not too complicated, not too difficult, pretty easy. Went from a full speaker to a half speaker. Obviously, you can use the small knife or the scissors to trim up the speaker, make it a little bit more flush, and you can also cut off some of this top part if you so please. And make sure not to get any debris in the voice coil. That will jam up your speaker and, you know, make it non-functional, or at least partially non-functional. But yeah, there you have it. Fully functional half speaker. You guys would probably want to see me take apart this one if I can, but you're going to need some serious strength in order to do so, or just a good hand with pliers. Because you see, if you bend metal back and forth really fast, it will split, especially cheaper metals. And once you split it, that's basically like cutting the basket. So now you can just take your scissors, cut the cone and the surround, and down here, cut into it with your small knife again. And then take that off. And there you have it. A half speaker. Let's get to testing them, shall we? Here's 1 Hertz on the smaller one. And here's a bass test. Here's 1 Hertz on the larger speaker. And here's a bass test. Obviously it's going to sound pretty bad as with, you know, half the speaker missing, but it's gonna work. But yeah, that is my tutorial, albeit I'll let you guys judge how I did on this tutorial, what you want me to do better next time, etc. That is my tutorial of how to make a functional speaker that is cut in half. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!